Just gonna do a couple of quick shots. Nothing too drastic. Was having some issues earlier anyway. The wind's still pretty bad, so I'm really just trying to just set my dial here at 20. I'm hoping it'll calm down a little bit. It's actually warmed up a little bit, so it's nice out here. But I am trying to reteach my string to keep my keep strainer after the new gas strings being installed. So I'm still messing with this. I'm getting some slightly funky flights. I just don't know if these are just underspined for the weight setup that I'm testing out. Even at this 65, 64 pounds, I'm still getting some weird variations. Flights are pretty decent, and I can get them pretty square sometimes, but you know, obviously when the wind kicks up, you kind of deal with that, but it's not nearly as bad. Four-fletch really helps with that. I think a lot of that's my form. I don't know if you can see them down there, the Luminox or Nocturnals or whatever on this one, but I'm getting some slight variation in flight. I might have to look at retuning, but the way I figure it right now for this setup and what I'm doing, I'm not relying on this setup for hunting. I'm relying on it for archery fun. So I'm getting some good consistency, even out of this bow with these arrows. Even this setup in the four-fletch, I picked them up from Knock On because they had a sale. I think they're having another sale right now. Just for how they set them up, they do a really good job. I can't argue that. Even local shops, they do a great job, but you still have sometimes that variation that, you know, I feel sometimes like if it's not their arrows, they don't care nearly as much, but it seems like at Knocked On or Knock On or whatever it's called, it's almost the same consistency every single time, and that's something that I can attest to. I've ordered a couple of different things for not only different people but myself, and they've been really strong. The only times that I've really damaged these arrows, it's typically me, but I've had some pretty nasty missed shots in the wind or, you know, way out to that 100 mark out there, and I picked them up and you know, they were still ready to shoot. Most of the time I've lost them just because I either hit something way too solid and no arrow is really going to survive that, or I shoot it into a piece of wood I can't get the arrow out of. The other thing is after a while the efficiency is getting so close at 20. I've been Robin Hooding these things. I lost probably about 3 to 4 arrows that way so far. But I'm getting good groups. I'm still messing with this release because I want to do this more for indoors. It seems like I have to take a little more time to stay consistent. This is one of those tools that I use to kind of help with my overall target panic. I've used this same setup for years. It's consistent. It's nice because you can adjust it on the inside just like this one. And this is just a back tension release, and it's one of those ones I bought a long time ago that you know, it's probably outdated at this point, but it still works the same way. And I don't use this for hunting. I'd probably leave it somewhere or drop it and I'd be SOL. But this, I have a couple of these. I have a couple as backups. This is probably my newest one. And it's probably 2 years old, maybe 3 years old now. And anytime I had any kind of issues whatsoever, I had one of these boas. At some point, I think it just broke, or maybe the attachment broke on one of these little plastic things on there. Not really sure what happened there. It's the first time I ever had any issues with this exact setup with the boa. I like how quick you can put it on and off, take it on. I had the belt one. I used that for probably most of my archery, you know, time. I ended up giving that to my brother-in-law, and he still uses it today. It's the same thing. So, you know, buy once, cry once, but this hook thing can be really dialed in. That hook release can be almost just absolutely, you know, dialed in. If you want a hair trigger, it's there. Like, you can really tune it
Make sure you keep them lubed and clean, and I've never had any real issues. And like I said, the one time I did, I went back to the archery store, talked to them, and said, "Hey, this is what I got. I purchased it. What do you guys think?" They said, "Hey, we'll do the warranty work for you." I'm like, "Okay, sweet." They sent it in, and they had a new one sent to me. You know, it's one of those things that more of these companies that actually back you up, and I know that Spot Hog is definitely one of those. And this is the wise guy. You know, they take care of you for the price. That's one of the things that's the kind of equipment that I buy, that I like. But let's run down there real quick. We'll go check it out. So there's that group. There's the first group. It was pretty windy on that first one. Not bad though. I know that they're kind of outside of it, but I actually shot that one lower just to kind of give myself a variation of like, hey, am I shooting right at it or am I aiming wrong? So this was pretty much where I was aiming in this lower quadrant when I shot that one. This group's a little bit tighter, but that's me again. It is a little bit windy out here, but that's me. I'm making that variation as far as I'm just not that great a shot. So, you know, consistency is key. The more I have to shoot to keep me, you know, on target, keep myself dialed in, you know, especially for anyone that, you know, maybe has natural talent. That's great, man. But some of us have to work a little extra hard to keep the blade sharp, if you know what I mean. And I think that's part of it, is keeping yourself sharp as much as year round as you can, with life and jobs and family and, you know, everything that you have involved in your life that's important to you. It's good to just get out and get back. So, because this is one of the things I enjoy doing. I've actually probably gotten rid of more hobbies than anything else while I've been out here, because the outdoors is kind of where I live, along with spending time with my family and friends and things like that, and just kind of the stuff that's important. Wind's kind of kicking up a little bit on me, but let's see if we can get a couple more shots in. I still don't know if you can see it, but it is what it is. I'm sure you guys might let me know, might not. But the wind's kicking up pretty hard again, but I'll play around with this thing still. I need this one in particular because I've got a couple of shoots coming up, indoor ranges and outdoor fun, and just friends that want to go do 3Ds, and we kind of try to do competitions, and kind of rack and stack ourselves. We don't we don't really take it too crazy to heart, but we have a good time. But you know, it's all about the fun. It's all about the staying sharp and just keeping yourself ready for the hunting seasons. And then also, nothing wrong with training in the wind, that's for sure, because it gives you a good idea of how steady you have to be in the wind and how efficient your arrow should be in the wind. And I shot 3-fletch, and I still shoot 3-fletch, don't get me wrong, I still shoot them. When you really want a little more speed and you don't want the whole wrap and more fletchings to either slow your arrow down or whatever it does as far as your drag and everything else, you know, best thing to think about is that you're getting something that's a little more efficient in the air and cutting through the air even with the wind, you know, that kind of deal. In fact, I think that's what, 30, 40, 50. I haven't tested it yet, but I'm right at that like 20 mark, and I haven't tested how far I am just yet, but I'm willing to bet, as far as the draw tape that I've already had on it and how I've set it up before at this close weight with this arrow, I'm willing to bet at like that 50, 51 yards. That's 40. I think that goat that's out there, which I still don't know if you guys can see it, that's pretty far up there. Let's see. So it's windy. I took a pop shot just to see. It's kind of hard to see how far out there it is, but it's one of those things. We'll run down. Let's check these ones real quick. And it's not bad. I'm still getting some slight variances, but I mean, this is practice time. This is the time to get it dialed. I'm still working on it. And then there's I just sent a random arrow down at 50 just to see. I still haven't even sighted in. Yeah, not bad. It's not the worst thing in the world. I do say that's probably has a little bit to do with the wind. And then me, like I said, I'm not a perfect shooter. I'm still working on that. But I'd say that'd probably still be a kill shot in my book. So, especially for a bow that I just reset up, I'm still trying to dial in. But shooting the back tension release is one of those things that you have to get used to. And I don't think I would ever do it in a hunting scenario. There's some phenomenal hunters that can do it. I can't get my head around it. I'd probably freak out or do something weird with it. But when I do it in just a relaxed situation where I'm just enjoying the hunt, that's when I like to shoot and do that kind of stuff, because it makes me take my time a little bit more. And I feel like that's important when you're training your body to calm down and maybe even just breathe, take a minute. It's kind of nice to do that in a scenario where you're not under super stressful situations, whether it's the 3Ds or outdoors or indoors, whatever shoots that I'm doing. That's typically what I'm trying to do. So just changing it up a little bit helps me. I don't think it's great as far as using it for hunting, but people could do it, and I know they're like phenomenal at it. They're fantastic, and that's awesome. Like I really do think anything like this archery related is pretty freaking awesome, and especially the people that can do it with these, man, that's pretty sweet. But I know myself enough to know that I would probably drop this, lose this, forget it somewhere, and that's $200-300 that I don't want to just leave randomly. Especially I just had some equipment blow away the other day, and I didn't even think about it as I'm trying to get out of the dust storms and get off this mountain a little bit, and I left that behind. So this would hurt my feelings a little bit if I lost something this important. But let's get a couple more shots in, and I'm still tuning it. I'm still playing with it. I think it's going to be a great all-around shooter for indoors. But I think I'm eventually, especially with the draw results coming up, I'm going to go ahead and start dialing it back up to that 70-pound range, just as a good backup bow. But also drawing that cycle at 70 pounds is a little bit smoother than my normal hunting bow. But if I have a hunt coming up, I'll be switching back over to my hunting bow as my primary for everything. 3D, indoor, outdoor, doesn't matter. That's when it's showtime for the rest of the year. This is just for fun. Have a good backup bow that's sighted in early. That way I'm not doing it last minute down the road. Just being ready for the future of hunting and different stuff. So plus just for fun. I want both of them for fun, but I also want them for hunting scenarios. But so far this new string setting up it's pretty sweet. It's been a really good string for me. Like I said, I had to replace it, but it was just because it had some very minor separation here, and then right here on the inside there, if you can see it, where it turns here, puts a lot of stress on it, how the cam's set up, especially at that 78, 80 pounds. At least that's what I'm finding, because other people with the 70-pound limbs don't seem to have as much issues as I did. In fact, they were they had no problem with it whatsoever. They still have their first original strings, but I also shot consistently and a lot over time to really break that string in. But it was worth it. And then, you know, they have a good warranty. It's hard to argue with that kind of setup. But so far, she's going to be a good shooter for a backup bow, hunting bow. Super smooth for what it is. It does help me because I'm shooting the back tension on this thing just to have a slight variation, but it's mostly just mental training to get me in a better mindset of taking my time. And then when I go switching back to this is that much better in my opinion because I'm more consistent. I'm less afraid. I'm very confident with this setup. This just helps me kind of relax a little bit more. Try not to overthink the shot, and you have to be ready with this. You can't just mess around. Any crazy variation in your normal draw cycle, all that stuff, it'll tell you that you're messing up right away. So I think that's part of this as a learning aid, a training tool, one of those kind of things. But plus, it's just fun to shoot. I do get very accurate with this, but not more than what I usually get with this. The breathing techniques, taking your time and having to kind of walk yourself through all of the process to shoot one of these helps me train for more hunts, more shooting range time, makes me have to be a better all-around archer, and that helps me. It was very difficult to even try this, but it's definitely something that I'd love to master over time. I still would never probably use one in a hunting scenario. I'm just not that good. And I don't know if that requires you to be that good or just people are just that good with it. But I'm not. So, but I love using it just because it is a training aid for me. It's a training tool. And I like to have that in my toolbox. It's just one of those things that, like I said, makes me a better hunter. And anything that makes you a better archer, hunter, I'm all about it. I think that's worth it. But yeah, I'm going to continue doing my thing and sighting in this bow. If anybody has any questions, just reach out. Thank you guys. You guys have a good day.